shows the price model, and then the bottom one shows your trigger model. Okay, so right now we're currently holding 1.6 billion XRP on exchanges. That's confirmed by Glassnode. I can pull that up for you here. Let's go ahead and hop into that real quick. So right here, the last update we had was on January 3rd of 1. Oh, you guys aren't in it, man. I'm gonna get this right. I'm jumping around too many things. Bear with me. We'll get the hang of it. So Glassnode was at 1.6 billion XRP available on exchanges as of January 3rd was the last update that we have. So if we go back to the supply shock model and look at it, at current range 1.6 billion is, we are sitting at almost 800 million XRP right now, which is 50% of what is available on exchanges. I factored in 14 billion on available float. So that 14 billion is what the rumors we've heard of, not only that's available on exchanges, what people have in wallets that can be moved, bought, and sold. It removes the idea of what's locked in corridors, what's locked in AMM, what's locked in Ripple escrow, lost wallets, all of those things. So if we remove all those things, the theory is there's about 14 to 15 billion XRP floating around out there that could really be sold, but there's only 1.6 billion on exchanges. So if we look at the model and you look at this, we are currently at 50% absorption. If you look at the top left of the XRP supply shock model, that puts us at a rate of $2 to $2.20. Now, if we reach 75% of the exchange holdings, if the ETF holdings reach 75% of the exchange holdings, so if we get to about 1.2 billion, it says it will trigger the second level, which is liquidity tension. That would be a $3 to $5 XRP. If the ETFs reach the same amount of XRP that's held in exchanges, that would lead us to the supply squeeze level of $5 to $10 XRP. And if we reach beyond that, right, if we get beyond to 200% or 2 billion XRP held in trust, that would create a supply shock or a repricing event, which could go to $10 and beyond. This is determined by how much XRP is being removed from supply regularly by the ETFs, what supply is physically floating around out there, and what's actually happening with the price. But we have more info than just this because we have on-chain data. One of the things that we've been tracking regularly is account set activity. I've been saying ad nauseum that this will eventually turn into payment activity. And when we start seeing payment activity, we will start seeing an increase in price because utility demand creates more XRP to be held. Well, we're starting to see an increase in payments happening now. Now, again, it's not up here, but again, we have 4 straight days of over 1 million. Okay. We're already at 658,000 today. If this continues to climb and maintain, this will translate to utility. This will translate to price appreciation. The higher this goes and maintains, we will see a higher price. I am confident in saying that. And again, none of this information is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only for the time being. As my subscribers know, I am working on my Series 65 to be a financial advisor. So we have covered what's actually on exchanges, 1.6 billion XRP. We have nearly 800 million XRP locked into the ETF trust, and that is still continuing, roughly at approximately 13 to 14 million per day now on average since they've launched, right? Remember, the first ETF just launched on November 13th. We're seeing increased account set activity. We're seeing increased licensing for Ripple, excuse me, not for XRP, but for Ripple. Stablecoin information going out. Everything is building on XRP right now. We need clarity. I just did a video today talking about XRP's clarity. If you haven't seen it or you're still confused about clarity, you can let me know in the chat. Again, engage in the chat, but you can also check out the video. It's about 3 minutes. It explains it very, very well. So back to what's going on today. So let's get into the price real quick, talk about it. We dropped today, got down as low as 206, and we held support currently at 208. Going to see if we are going to push back up and reclaim. Remember, we talk about EMA 9 all the time. to discuss where we are as far as momentum. So we're going to come back up and test EMA 9. This is still a bullish divergence. There's a nice channel growing here. So if you're looking for an immediate breakout, we could push through this and retest up to 220 to 240. Again, we pull out, when in doubt, zoom out, right? We pull out to the 1 week chart. We are still battling to retake EMA 9 on the 1 week chart. If we have a candle close above this, we have a chance at a breakout. Again, that's our signal for a breakout, because every move XRP has ever done has followed a breakout of the EMA 9 on the 1 week chart. You can see it in history. It's that simple. It's just the way XRP moves. But ETFs still had a good day yesterday. It had inflows yesterday, currently at 14 million in volume today. And we saw that they went from 788 to 795. So they already added an additional 7 million XRP into the ETFs. But there is a ton of news going on right now. I've bookmarked several things, so bear with me. I have a ton of stuff to cover with you guys. So let's talk about legislation. Let's talk about the Clarity Act. There's a lot of noise going on that there's a lot of noise going on. Let me get this set up for you. There's a lot of noise going on that Coinbase pulled out. It's bad, bill's bad, all of those things. What Coinbase said was they cannot support the bill for how it is. It still has a ton of supporters in the crypto space. Ripple, Circle, who else? There's another one. There's several, okay? But the big players are still at the table. They're still working on negotiation. They're still working on hammering out this legislation. This is Coinbase on CNBC talking about what's going on with their support of the bill.
Now that we're seeing progress for crypto market structure regulation on Capitol Hill, what's your timeline for when you think we could see rules of the road for crypto become law here in the U.S.? Do you think it can happen this year, even with Congress already shifting its focus on the 2026 midterm elections in which the Democrats could take the House?
Look, decisions about Senate process are really above our pay grade. I mean, our job is really to be the experts in the industry and the technology, and share our expertise with policymakers as they try to figure out the path forward. So we're optimistic, though. The amount of interest there is, and time invested to get legislation through has been impressive. And so we'll work with senators on both sides to get to an outcome. And one thing to keep in mind.
Okay, I'm not going to keep going with the video because it keeps glitching for some reason, but they are still working with senators on both sides. Again, those headlines were overblown, everybody. So they are still working on it. Here you go. Crypto firms back bill despite Coinbase exit. Here it is. Circle, Kraken, Ripple, Paradigm, and whoever that is. It's still moving forward. It's just not going to pass this month like a lot of people thought it was. But we were talking about that for the last couple weeks, that we didn't think that was going to happen. I found some new information, changed my tune. And again, I'm sorry I was wrong about that at the beginning. I thought it would be done by Q1. I was wrong. I don't think it's going to be done till midterms now, if we're lucky, before midterms. Again, my opinion. Ripple is partnering with LMAX to accelerate institutional stablecoin adoption and cross-asset mobility. Cross-asset mobility. RLUSD will be integrated as a core collateral across LMAX's global marketplace, unlocking cross-collateral efficiencies across crypto and traditional markets. Again, bridging the markets. That's what they do. Again, let's go on further. CEO of Evernorth joined to discuss Evernorth going public.
From Nasdaq's market site, I'm your host, Christina Ayanian. And joining me today is Ashish Birla, CEO of Evernorth. Ashish, thank you so much for joining. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So we have a lot of exciting news to celebrate. Evernorth is gearing up for a Q1 2026 IPO. How is this shaping your strategy to getting institutions on board and the digital asset space overall?
Yeah, thanks, Christina. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. I've been in blockchain since 2013, and the timing couldn't be more perfect. We have the right kind of regulation, we have the right kind of administration, and institutions are ready to adopt. And Evernorth provides an easy way for institutions in the public markets to gain exposure to XRP, the digital asset underpinning Evernorth's digital asset treasury.
So it sounds like the shift that we're in really opens up interesting opportunities. What are some of the core strengths that Evernorth has that attracts public investors?
Yeah, so if you think about how you get access to exposure in digital assets prior to Evernorth, is that you would have to go and custody digital assets on your own. You would have to worry about compliance. You'd have to worry about security. And hey, a subset of users and institutions are okay with that, but a large lion's share just want to buy a public stock. So we made it as easy as buying a public stock, and we'll figure that stuff out for you. Use that and you can gain exposure to XRP, a digital asset, the third largest digital asset, today in the United States.
But there are still a lot of gaps in today's infrastructure. How are you positioned to solve this?
Yeah, so listen, there's a lot of regulatory, issues. There's compliance issues. There's the security issues that I mentioned. And then you have to, if you want to participate in all the interesting things happening on the blockchain ecosystem, you have to figure that out as well. Or you could just buy the XRPN stock, Evernorth stock, and we'll figure that stuff out for you. So we do a lot of that heavy lifting. We're experts. We've been building products. My team has been building products in blockchain since 2013. We're the right operational team to make this happen. We package all that up for you. You just buy the stock, XRPN, that's the Evernorth stock, and we'll take care of all that heavy lifting for you.
So going off of your point, XRP ETFs are making a big splash. What's your take on what comes next for regulated XRP products?
Real quickly, before they get too deep into the ETF portion of it, what they're suggesting, if it's a little bit unclear, what they're suggesting is basically they're going to do all the yield stuff, right? You invest in Evernorth, they buy XRP and they build on it, and your money will appreciate. Your stock will appreciate as Evernorth appreciates. So really, it's kind of a way of getting involved in XRP and yield without actually holding XRP. All you have to do is buy the stock and they take care of it for you. That's what they're trying to sell you, is basically a stock version of one-click DeFi, essentially, is what I'm gathering from that. I think it's very interesting what they're proposing to bring in here.
Yeah, so listen, it was a record-breaking last few weeks with XRP ETFs. Hey, that's great news. That shows that there's the demand from the public markets to gain exposure to XRP, a digital asset that is at the forefront of the financial revolution on blockchain. But there's more that we can do as well. And Evernorth is going to be actually participating and help develop that XRP ecosystem, help bring financial products to the blockchain. And by buying the XRPN stock, you get exposure to things beyond just the asset. We'll also be generating yield as well on the XRP asset, which we'll use to go and buy more of the digital asset for the treasury. So we'll be actively out there. We'll be stewards of the XRP ecosystem. We're excited as this is early innings, and we're excited to get going.
So it's safe to say this momentum is creating that ripple effect. No pun intended.
I've heard that one before. That's a good one.
So from your point of view, what do you think will distinguish the winners in digital asset treasuries?
Yeah, so I think that one, you have to have scale, and Evernorth, as of today, is by far the largest XRP digital asset treasury out there. And then I would say that the other thing is they can't be passive. They have to be active stewards of helping the XRP ecosystem flourish and develop. And that's where our core strengths lie. I was building products in blockchain for over a decade. I'm going to continue in helping the XRP ecosystem develop. And Evernorth will get to potentially participate in that and generate yield for the treasury as well. So we're excited. I think the leading digital asset treasuries are going to be the ones that are actively involved, not just sitting back and helping that XRP ecosystem flourish.
So from your point of view, you've been in this space for over a decade. What are the top 3 things that you would say to weary investors getting into tokenization or digital assets?
Yeah, so I would say, like, listen, the timing couldn't be better. You have the right kind of regulation. These products have been around for over a decade, so they're mature. They are having good reputations, and it's ripe for institutional adoption. And so the last piece is that was missing is there wasn't institutional adoption and institutional capital coming in. But products like Evernorth make it easy for institutions to now participate and adopt. So you got regulation, you got the products, and now you got institutional capital. I think timing is right to adopt blockchain for financial products.
The time is now, so get on it.
Absolutely.
Ashish, thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
The time is now, so get on it. So no, I saw a couple comments in there. Ripple is not doing an IPO. That is Evernorth that's going to be doing an IPO this year. So they will be, it's planned for Q1 of 2026. So Evernorth will be going live. You can buy Evernorth stock and they will earn yield on XRP. They do all the XRP. Basically everything we do on our own, they're going to do themselves. And all you have to do is buy the share. That's their goal. That's what they're trying to do. The Ripple IPO was shot down. Apparently that rumor is dead. Ripple will not be doing an IPO this year, maybe in 2027, but not this year. But we still have more news. So let me find some stuff here. Let's see here. While long overdue, this move by Senator Tim Scott, there it is. While long overdue, this move by Senator Tim Scott and banking GOP on market structure is a massive step forward in providing workable frameworks for crypto while continuing to protect consumers. Ripple and I know firsthand that clarity beats chaos. I swear Brad watches my channel. He's got to. Crypto without chaos. Come on now. And this will be and this bill's success is crypto success. We are at the table and will continue to move forward with fair debate. I remain optimistic that issues can be resolved throughout the markup process. So Ripple is on board. They are at the table. Now, I know a lot of you came in late, so I'm going to reverse back real quick. Sorry for the people who were here at the beginning, but I do believe that a supply shock is in the works for XRP. Now, there's a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding about what a true supply shock actually looks like. Okay. So if we're looking at the case of a true supply shock, it's going to look something like this. Okay. Most people are telling you it's going to be $100. It's going to be $1,000. That's not how this system works. So I have created an ETF math model that is based on what's actually being held in the physical ETFs, how much XRP is being removed per day from the ETFs, what the price action has done over that time. Okay. All real data points that we can pull from. So we have pulled all of that data together and we have created a timeline based on how much XRP is physically on exchanges. We're looking at 1.6 billion as of January 3rd. How much XRP is actually floating around that's able to be sold, right? The rumors about 14 to 15 billion based on what's actually out there, not what's held in escrow, not what's held in corridors, not what's locked up in AMM, not what's in lost wallets, but what's actually floating around there that can move and be sold is about 14 to 15 billion. If you take all of that information and you overlay it with what the price chart's been doing over the last year, as well as what's been happening on exchanges and the ledger activity, and I'm going to show you that as well if you came in late. So what's going on with the ledger activity, what's actually being removed with the ETFs, and what's happening with licensing. Don't forget, the Ripple now has full licensing from the MAS, which is the Asia corridor from Singapore, full licensing in Europe, full licensing in Africa, I believe. But regardless, they are branched out further than anyone else, and utility is about to start turning on. So looking at the model, we are currently sitting at 50% of what the exchange balance is. By that means about 800 million XRP is locked into ETF trust, while 1.6 billion sits on exchanges. That's 50%. So as we move up to 75% locked away into ETFs, we'd be looking at a $3 to $5 XRP. That's called liquidity tension, the liquidity tension phase. As we get to 100%, so if we're at 1.6 billion XRP while 1.6 billion is available on exchanges, then we're looking at $5 to $10 XRP. That is the supply squeeze area. And then if we get to the 100, or if we get beyond 100%, if we get to 2 billion XRP that's locked into ETFs and we start digging into the available float, that's when we get a true supply shock and repricing beyond that $10 level. Again, my opinion, not financial advice, but this is based on facts, figures, numbers, logic. And if you want to take it a step further, we're going to go and look real quickly again at the ledger activity. We follow account set activity on ledger. There has been more sustained account set activity over the last 2 months than there has been in the history of the ledger. Account sets is accounts getting programmed, getting turned on, getting all their credentials in line. Later, if you look at the history of the ledger, whenever there's spikes in account set activity, there follows a spike in payments activity. Throughout the history of the ledger, we are seeing a rise in payments activity. We want to see it continue to rise and sustain up above 2 million, which would be higher than the normal average of the ledger, back here. That would bring us up closer to like the pilots era of 2023, 2024, when they were running pilots with the World Economic Forum. Anyone remember that? I do. Don't forget, they are still a partner with the World Economic Forum. We're here for what the price is not today, but what it's going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. We are here for the long view, okay? Clarity Act being delayed. We're going to expect it right now, hopefully before midterms. If not, next year. We don't want that to happen, but that's the realistic possibility. Coinbase hype, FUD, whatever's been floating around out there in the headlines was fake. We listened to Coinbase come on and talk about they are still willing to come to the table, as well as Ripple, Kraken, and several others. This is not dead. This is how the process works. It takes time. It's not going to be slingshot rocket to the moon like everyone says like everyone's trying to sell us hype. Really. So hopefully I can cut through that noise, show you what a real supply shock looks like and how we can expect it to play out. We can follow this in real time as we start getting to those levels. If the math model fails, then we do away with it. It's that simple. But again, I'm just presenting you guys the information so you can come up with your own thoughts, opinions, okay? That being said, that's all the information I had for you today. So I'm going to hop in the chat and see what everyone's doing today. Let's take a look here. Keep the chat going. We'll keep this going as long as we can. It's a great day. I have good energy. My head feels good today. I'm ready to go. Let's see here. George is in the house today, says, hope you're having a great day. I'm having a fantastic day, George. It's the first day I haven't had a headache in like 4 days. Quelly's in the house today. Raul made it in the house today. William's here. Raul said there were 10 people in the stream. Okay. If someone could let me know how many people are in the stream now, I'd appreciate it. We'll keep this going. Jose said, I heard that the Clarity Act says no one entity can hold more than 20% of their own coins, and Ripple is holding 40%. Would that create a supply shock? No, I don't think that would create a supply shock. Actually, what most people are worried about is the opposite would happen. If that XRP or if that Ripple had to dump 20 billion XRP on the market, it would drop the price and flood the market. However, I also don't think that's the case either. Ripple's smart, okay? How long did it take them to get Evernorth up and running? You guys remember when that happened? Back in like beginning of November? It took them 2 weeks, okay? Having a DAT company like Evernorth as a Ripple partner is an excellent place to park some XRP if you need to move it. I'm just saying, not financial advice, but they have places they can send it. They have business partners they can send it. So I don't think it'll create a supply shock. I think it'll create more FUD than anything else, but that's just my opinion on it. However, worst case scenario, they can always send it to Evernorth, and Evernorth will just put it to work as a DAT company like they are. Sir Charles made it in here today. Welcome, Charles. William and Bonnie says Coinbase is caca. I agree. I'm personally not a fan of Coinbase. I don't use it, but again, not financial advice. Everyone has your own way. but I am not a Coinbase fan. Mr. Johnny said, hello, what's going on, bro? Welcome, Johnny. I am doing great today. It's a good day. Let's see here. Sir Charles said 26 people are here. He said Brad probably does watch me. You know, that would be cool. I wish he'd give me an interview. We could grow the channel or something. No, I'm sure he doesn't watch me, but I do think it's pretty cool that the things I've been saying here for, you know, a few months now are being echoed by the CEO of Ripple, talking about removing chaos from, removing chaos and bringing clarity to the crypto space, talking about the long view, literally, quote unquote, the long view of this digital asset space. It's amazing. It's very, very validating that I'm approaching this the right way. Quelly says, you can already buy Evernorth because they're using a SPAC, ticker XRPN. I've held it for a couple months. Okay. So I don't know what they're doing there. They have something else that's so I guess they're going public. It says they're going public. So I don't know if they're changing it or what, but there's going to be new ways for people to invest in it. But thank you, Quelly. I'm sorry if that information was wrong, but they're talking about doing an IPO, which is an initial public offering, in Q1. So they may be available to buy, but they're not public yet, if that makes any kind of sense. Let's see here. John said, could they make it illegal to self-custody XRP in cold wallets? I mean, they can make anything illegal. True. I mean, they can write whatever law they want. I mean, will they be able to? I hope not. And again, that's where we're gonna see a lot. That's why. Okay, this is an excellent point. So thank you for this question. I'm gonna pivot to something else too, John. Okay. So John asked, could they make it illegal to self-custody XRP in cold wallets? And the answer is yes, they could. They can make anything legal or illegal as they're going through this process. That's why I'm watching it so closely. That's what one of my biggest concerns over the next 5 to 10 years is not if crypto is going to appreciate in price. To me, I know it's going to. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. To me, is how everything else unfolds with it. Personal security, private security, right? Digital IDs, what we can and can't hold, right? Social, right? Your social score and things like that they're talking about with digital ID that is happening in other countries. That's the stuff that worries me, and that's why I'm paying such close attention. I know we're going to make money with it. In my opinion, not financial advice. That's not my question. That's not why I watch it every day. I watch it every day because I want to know how it's unfolding, so I know how to position myself as this plays out in the long view. Because again, 10 years from now, the world's going to look completely different than it does today. Think about 2015, 2016 versus now, right? So believe me, 2015, I just moved into this house. I had just got out of the military, all those things. The world has completely changed in 10 years and it's going to change again. It's only moving faster. So we need to be prepared and pay attention so we don't get screwed by private security. My opinion, not financial advice. So I know that was a pivot there, John, but they absolutely could. I hope they don't, but they could. Sir Charles says, do you have a rough timeline for when these phases play out? Well, so if we pull up the phases real quick, let me see. If we pull up the phases real quick, when I was running the ETF math model, it said we were currently removing about 13 to 14 million XRP per day between all of the ETFs. So given that rate of accumulation, we're currently at roughly 800 million, 795 million XRP. So if you want to use that moving average of 13 million XRP per day, you could see when we're going to get to these levels of absorption, right? The ETF holdings. So you can work it out that way and come up with a guesstimate. I didn't present it that way because I know it's not going to play out exactly that direction. And I'm not here to give you quote unquote price predictions. I'm here to present a model of what a supply shock could actually look like. Again, not financial advice, but the moving average right now is 13 to 14 million XRP per day being locked up in ETFs since they've gone live. So you can extrapolate that out as however you would like on when you would hit these levels. And again, too, you also have to keep in mind that exchange balances are going to change, right? It's going to go up and down. People are going to move stuff around. So this is based off of the again, rumored float of 14 to 15 billion that's floating out in supply, and what we know from Glassnode of 1.6 billion XRP available on exchange. So that's where I'm coming up with that. That's how I'm pacing it out. So you could come up with exact dates or rough dates if you would like to create your own timeline, Charles. Daniel says, hello, my friend. I asked this the other day about reevaluating XRP by the BIS. Could this last announcement be a new factor and possible trigger of a reevaluation? I don't think so. I don't think we're at that stage of this right now. And I could be very wrong. But just look at how Coinbase is reacting right now with the clarity. There's a lot of, if that were to happen, there's going to be a lot of really pissed off companies. That's why I don't think it's going to happen that way. Not going to say it's not impossible, but I don't think that's how it's going to play out. I do think it's bullish. I do think it's bullish for Ripple and XRP in the long run, but I don't think it's going to play out the way that you're thinking. Again, and that's just me, not financial advice. Frank Allen says, hello, I'm enjoying your chat. Very good information. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Frank. Welcome to the channel. Hit subscribe, smash the like button, share it far and wide. Let's grow this sucker out so we can get non-hype information in there. But we are going through the chat, and I'm going to come back to the chat, but I've got something fun for you all, okay? So if you don't like language warning, but I do have something fun for y'all. Let me pull it up. I came across it, and I wanted to share this with you guys because I think it's pretty amazing. Let me get it all set up here. Here we go. Let's take a look. Language warning, enjoy.
Show me the money! Show me the money! Show me the money! Show me the money! You my motherfucker! Show me the money!
Isn't this just great? I found this guy on X. He does great videos, but this is just fantastic. I saw this after they came out with the licensing news. If you guys want to have some fun, I'll retweet this out. But Ripple, I mean, X Art right here. That's who it is. It's fantastic. I'll go ahead and give this a retweet so you guys can find it. But this one was funny too when they announced the banking thing. Here, I'll let you guys check this one out too, and then I'll get back into the chat. But I wanted to have some fun with you guys. So let's hop back into the chat real quick after this. Enjoy this one. This is his response to them kicking the Clarity Act down the road here. All right, guys, let's get back into the chat. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. Let's see here. William and Bonnie said, if Democrats win the House, will the crypto momentum slow down? Not trying to bring politics into this, but this is the last administration was not big on crypto at all. I'm going to say yes, William. And the reason I think that is because I truly believe that the big banks are in the pockets of the Democrats. Again, and that's speculation. I don't have anything to prove that. That's just my opinion. But it certainly looks like they are 1,000,000% backing the Democrats to make sure they get what they want. So I think it's more the big banks slowing down the process than it's quote unquote Democrats, because we all know that these people are puppets. We all know that they're getting paid and they do what their lobbyists tell them. We're not stupid, right? So if Democrats get the House and the Senate back, I'm concerned it won't pass because banks are scared of crypto. That's why we had so much negative enforcement before this administration because the banks didn't want it. It has nothing to do, it's better, it's cheaper, it is better technology. The world is completely on board. We have full license, Ripple has full licensing now in Europe, Asia, okay? They're a US-based cryptocurrency. Why are we so far behind the rest of the world? Japan's about to tokenize their entire damn economy on the XRPL, right? Diamonds, gold's about to get tokenized on the XRPL. What is the United States scared of? It's not the United States, it's the damn banks, because they're gonna lose all the money. It's that simple. So we're gonna have to fight and claw and scratch and take every month, year, whatever, down the line to get these things pushed through, and we're going to have to watch it closely to make sure we don't get screwed in the long term. My opinion, not financial advice. Rant over. Sorry about that. So hopefully that answers your question there, William. Jose says, waiting on my 401k company to allow us to invest in ETF and hold that XRP as well as self-custody, already holding some long term. We'll have another bag that I have to hold really long term. Hey, that's one way to do it. Absolutely. And dollar cost averaging in over time is the most proven way to invest in anything throughout history. Dollar cost averaging is going to beat trying to find the top and the bottom every time. Again, not financial advice, but finding something that you believe in and investing in it continuously over the long term is going to outperform trying to trade and day trade in time, tops and bottoms for the majority of people. I know there's exceptions to every rule, but more people get broke quick than get rich quick when they're trying. Just saying. My opinion, not financial advice. Steve Ambrose says, will the powers over blockchain be able to just take our tokens away from us due to the Clarity Act? No, they won't. Not right now. We don't have to worry about that. There's a lot of things in there that people are talking. Okay, unless the person you're watching, whenever you're finding information, unless the person you're watching or reading has combed through all 300 pages of that draft that just came out, we don't know anything. Okay, that's a lot of information. Now you can put it into AI and figure it out, but we don't know anything yet. This is the preliminary stages. It's just beginning. Now, what we do need to watch out for is private security. And that was one of the things that came up in DeFi in the Clarity Act and what a lot of people pushed back against. That's a good thing. That means the crypto community is standing up for what we want in the Clarity Act. It's going to be give and take and push and pull throughout this process. It's just going to take time. Ian says Coinbase is super trustworthy. Not. Sir Charles. So you guys, lots of people liked the videos. I hope you enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. Let's see. William says he agrees. Sir Charles says it takes a lot of effort to overthrow an ancient banking system. You're absolutely right. Think about it. Like JP Morgan's been around since the 1800s, like since before the stock market, right? The JP Morgan family has been doing this. So it's going to take time, and we're probably not going to be able to overthrow it all. More than likely, maybe the pessimist that I am, but more than likely the big banks are going to win. He who has the money makes the rules, and guess who has all of the money? That's the golden rule. So we have to pay attention and position ourselves the best way possible. That's why I always say, follow the money. The money will show you where to go. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. William said, if I were to invest in one meme coin, what would it be? Just curious to know. Man, I really wouldn't want to invest in a meme coin right now. Man, you're asking me a tough one. Because meme coins aren't necessarily about utility or function. It's just about what's hot. You know what I'm saying? So I would say the ones I've seen the most are BlockDAG, Lil Pepe. But I don't know. I'd rather put my money into something else if I were to do it. But I guess if I had to pick a meme coin, I'd probably say Lil Pepe because it does have some utility as well. I know it's still in pre-sale right now. The last pre-sale I participated in was the Tundra stuff. I only put a couple $100 into it. But right now, I'd rather, if I had $1,000 to invest right now, instead of putting it into a meme coin, again, not financial advice, you guys do what you want with your own money. But if I had $1,000 to invest right now, based on my research and what I've been doing personally, what I've been looking at, I'm looking at making a move into some more Canton Network, CC. Me personally, not financial advice. But that's one I'm going to be adding to my bag. That's my next step. I've decided that I'm going to be doing a video on it soon, covering it for you all, what the ins and outs are and why I'm choosing to put some money in it. But again, do your own research. None of it's financial advice. The chat has come to a screeching halt. We've covered the supply shock model twice. So I'm about to get out of here. But before I do,
Show me the money! Show me the money! Show me the money! Show me the money! You my motherfucker! Show me the money!